The cemetery was quiet, except for the whisper of wind brushing through winter-dry grass. The sun had barely risen, casting a golden haze across rows of stone markers. It was a morning too gentle for tears. Yet a young woman knelt on the cold ground, clutching a faded bouquet of wildflowers like they were the last beautiful thing she owned. Her shoulders trembled. Her face was hidden beneath tangled hair, and her clothes, though clean, spoke of poverty. Thin sweater, patched skirt, shoes worn to the bone. Across the walkway, a man in a tailored charcoal suit stood still, his hands in his pockets. He had arrived with no flowers, only silence. The grave he stood before bore a polished marble headstone engraved with soft script. Emily Hart, beloved wife, gone too soon. His jaw tightened as he stared down, but he was distracted not by grief, but by the sound of the girl's sobs. He glanced again. Something about her pain, her quiet desperation felt familiar. He had seen many mourners here, but none had cried like they had nowhere else to cry. Finally, he stepped toward her, clearing his throat softly. "You're crying at that grave," he said, voice calm but carrying weight. The girl froze. Slowly, she lifted her head, eyes red, cheeks tear-stained. He swallowed. "That's my wife's grave. What's your story?" The girl gasped, backing up slightly as if she had trespassed on sacred ground. I'm sorry. I didn't know," she whispered. "I'll leave." "Don't," he said quickly, surprising himself. "I didn't mean it like that. I just want to understand." The girl hesitated, then lowered her head. "My name is Arya," she said softly, "and I wasn't crying because of her. I was crying because I don't have anywhere else left to cry." The man, Noah Hart, one of the country's youngest, self-made millionaires, felt something inside him shift. Arya tried to stand, but her leg buckled. Instinctively, Noah grabbed her arm, steadying her. She flinched at his touch, not because it hurt, but because kindness was foreign to her. "You're freezing," he said. "Have you eaten?" "Yes," she lied, stomach growling as if exposing her. Noah straightened. "There's a small cafe across the street. Come with me, eat, talk." She shook her head. "I'm not comfortable taking charity, and I'm not offering charity," Noah replied. "I'm offering company." Something in his eyes, loneliness same as hers, made her nod. The cafe smelled of warm bread and cinnamon. Arya sat across from Noah, hands wrapped around a mug of steaming tea as though it was holding her together. Noah finally spoke. "Why were you crying?" She stared into the cup. "My mother passed away 3 months ago. She was buried here on the opposite side." Her voice quivered. "I come every morning before work. Today, I lost my job, and my landlord said I have to leave if I can't pay by tomorrow." Noah blinked. "You're homeless?" "Soon," she whispered. She expected judgment or pity. Instead, Noah said quietly, "I know what it's like, losing someone." His eyes drifted toward the window. "Emily died last year, cancer. I come here every week." Arya's heart softened. "You loved her." "Deeply," he said. "She saved me from myself, and now I don't know who I am without her." Silence sat between them, heavy yet gentle. "Maybe," Arya finally said, "you're someone who can still save others." Noah looked up, stunned by the sincerity in her voice. Days passed. Noah offered to help Arya find work through one of his companies. She refused the easy route, insisting on earning her place. He admired that. He placed her in a small floral shop he owned, not out of pity, but because she handled flowers as if each petal carried a memory. For the first time in months, she smiled. Arya moved into a modest room above the store. Noah visited often, sometimes to discuss business, sometimes just to share silence. He never flirted, never pushed. Arya never crossed boundaries. Two broken hearts learning to breathe again. The world around them began to notice. The young woman who made bouquets like poetry, and the millionaire who lingered longer than business required. But grief has its own claws. One evening, Arya found Noah at the cemetery again, standing before Emily's grave, shoulders shaking, not with tears but with guilt. "I feel like I'm betraying her," he whispered when Arya approached. "When I talk to you, when I smile, I shouldn't be moving on." Arya stepped closer, voice trembling. "Loving again isn't forgetting. It's honoring how much love she gave you." Noah turned to her, eyes wet. "What if I'm not ready?" "Then I'll wait," Arya said. "Even if your heart never chooses mine, I'll stay as long as you need someone by your side." His breath caught gentle shock, deep gratitude. He reached out, brushing a tear from her cheek with trembling fingers. Thank you. Weeks slipped into months. Seasons changed. The cemetery bloomed with pink lilies. The flower shop thrived, and the hollow look in Noah's eyes slowly faded. One afternoon, Noah arrived at the shop carrying a bouquet. Not polished roses, but wildflowers like the ones Arya once laid at her mother's grave. For you, he said simply. Arya's hands shook. Why these? Because they reminded me of the first time I saw you, he said, crying but still holding something beautiful. She blinked back tears. Noah. He stepped closer. I don't know if this is love yet, but I know my heart doesn't feel lonely when you're near. Arya exhaled shakily. That's enough for me. He cupped her cheek. She leaned into his hand. The world softened. Their foreheads touched, not a kiss, but a promise. A slow beginning. A healing. In the quiet, Arya whispered, Thank you for not walking away that day. Noah smiled softly. You thanked me once. Now let me thank you. He glanced toward the horizon. You brought life back to a man who thought he'd buried his heart forever. And finally, gently, reverently, he pressed his lips to hers. The kiss wasn't desperate. It was careful, tender, like two souls stitching each other back together, without rushing the final knot. When they parted, Noah whispered, Emily once told me to keep living, even if she couldn't stay. Maybe this is what she meant. Arya squeezed his hand. She'd be proud of you. They walked away from the cemetery together, side by side, not replacing the past but carrying it forward. Because love doesn't always arrive as thunder. Sometimes it returns quietly, through a graveyard, a cup of tea, a bouquet of wildflowers, and asks softly to be let in again.